Now, no one likes to see our streets littered with rubbish. Have you ever, though, stopped to consider where all that litter comes from? Well, the people at the Keep Britain Tidy campaign have been collecting it, sorting it and counting it.
And they've decided to name and shame the companies that contribute most to the problem. Let's get more now from our reporter Tim Muffet, who's in Leicester for us. Morning, Tim.
Morning.
Good morning to you. Litter, isn't it horrible? It's a problem, let's face it, pretty much every town or city centre right across the country. If you drop litter in Leicester, for example, there's a good chance that Gordon or one of his colleagues will end up having to pick it up. Good morning to Gordon. He's out on one of his patrols a little later on. Now, there have been many anti-litter campaigns over the years. There have been some successes, but one type of litter, it does seem, really is on the increase.
Unsightly, annoying and unhealthy. Litter doesn't half wind us up.
Everywhere you go, move, you see the rubbish everywhere.
What effect does it have on an area, do you think?
Make it look like a dump.
If I see anybody throwing it, I tell them to pick it up.
Dickie Felton has been examining the litter on our streets. He and his team want to know where precisely it's coming from.
We live in a very, very beautiful country, but unfortunately people choose to trash it in such a messy way. I think that litter has a really negative impact on an area, and I think that people also feel very, very negative when they live somewhere which is covered in litter.
Packaging from takeaways and fast food outlets is now one of the biggest problems. It accounts for around a quarter of all litter. Now, Keep Britain Tidy have been monitoring the streets of 10 cities across England, and by looking at the logos on the rubbish, they've been compiling a list of the companies which are producing the most.
And here are their results in traditional reverse order. They found that 5% of fast food litter came from Subway sandwich shops, 8% from KFCs, 18% from Greggs bakeries. Just over a fifth of litter was unbranded wrapping from fish and chip or kebab shops. The largest amount, 29%, came from McDonald's restaurants. The company says it takes the issue very seriously and has been trying to cut down on litter for many years.
One of the most effective things that we do is all of our restaurants up and down the country are expected to go out about 3 times a day to pick up litter from the neighbourhoods and communities where we do business. Not only our litter, but other people's rubbish as well.
Saeed Kinlich, who works in this kebab shop in North London, points out it's not the restaurants necessarily making the mess.
I think it's the public themselves. If they tend to throw litter on the floor, then they've got a responsibility to maybe throw it in the dustbin or, leave it inside the restaurants.
Anti-litter campaigns have been running for more than 50 years. Some have verged on the slightly bizarre. More recently, they've highlighted issues such as rats and vermin. But whilst there is less dog mess and fly posting than before, campaigners say there's more fast food litter than ever, and they want those selling fast food to take more action.
Now, we heard the response from McDonald's in the report. Their breakfast has also spoken to the other companies mentioned, and they all pretty much said the same thing. They all see litter as an ongoing challenge, and many of the companies have pledged to cut down on the packaging. Let's have a quick chat to Barbara, because you're a city warden here in Leicester, aren't you? As far as you're concerned, Barbara, who's really to blame? Is it the companies or the people who drop the litter?
The people who drop the litter. There's enough bins in most city centres throughout the country, and it's actually the people's responsibility to make sure that they put their litter in the bins.
But fast food litter really does take up quite a large proportion of the stuff which you do find on the streets, doesn't it?
Yes, a survey conducted by Encounters proved that most of the litter through city centres is from food outlets.
Fine. OK, so it's an ongoing challenge, isn't it? Gordon, you're going to be off on your patrols a little later. There's a whole team of people every morning, as there are in Leicester, as there are in most city centres. It does seem that, fast food is pretty convenient, but there is a downside to it as well, and that is litter. Now, on breakfast, we don't want to nag anyone at all, but let's face it, if you've got some rubbish in your hand today, stick it in the bin.
Good idea. Tim, thank you very much.